Davis has returned to the mining industry 5 months after losing his job as chief executive of Xstrata following the Glencore takeover with $1 billion to invest. Now, Peter Major, mining analyst at KD's Corporate Solutions, joins us now. Peter, opening up a new mine and raising at least $1 billion to start up this project. My question is it worth it in an industry that has been faced with so much turmoil at the moment?
Look, an industry under turmoil always has lots of opportunities. And you can ask yourself, is Mick Davis a Lee Iacocca who took over Chrysler when the American auto manufacturers were under their biggest crisis probably ever up until 2008 anyways? And look what Lee Iacocca did with Chrysler. But is Mick Davis Lee Iacocca? We have to ask yourself, has Mick done great things with mining companies before? Because it seems to me the last company Mick had, he listed in 2003, he bought a lot of assets, raised a lot of money, and he exited 10 years later at about the same price he listed at. So maybe you got a 1.5% dividend for 10 years, but I don't know of any other mining company that didn't do a lot better than that. So maybe this is Mick's second shot. There's a lot of assets out there going pretty cheap, and it's great news that he raised that money. We thought money was hard to come by. This is really good news for mining.
Peter, you mentioned there that naturally looking for assets will be a bit of a challenge, but what kind of commodities are you citing that he might go into? I understand that they're looking at Rio Tinto from Anglo American, as well as the Xstrata, or rather Glencore Xstrata Bumpers copper project in the Peru.
I think Mick's timing is great because these large mining companies are shedding assets. And they're all very narrowly focused on the real bulk commodities like oil, natural gas, coal, and iron ore. If you look at Rio's, I think 75% of the company is just iron ore, a little bit copper, and the rest aluminum. If you look at Billiton, virtually 50% is iron ore. If you look at Anglo American, virtually 45–50% is iron ore. So there's a lot of other commodities that these big companies aren't into that someone like Mick Davis could pick up. There's precious metals, there's the base metals, there's rare earths. So really, you've got about 100 known mineral commodities, and the big houses seem to be focusing on 4 or 5. So there's 95 out there for people like Mick to look at.
I mean, you know, $1 billion seems like a small number to me. Put that into context for us in terms of what they could invest in terms of scale, and also just give us your views on the fact that they do have a number of senior, or Mick Davis rather, has a number of senior managers who have joined him. For example, the former Chief Financial Officer, Trevor Reed from Xstrata, joining the team. They're all called X2 partners. That's the team that are investing in Mick Davis's operations now. So what are your thoughts, firstly, on the numbers and the team that he has backing him?
Well, gee, Samantha, those are the kind of guys you must be dating if $1 billion is small change in your book. It is small change for people like Mick, Trevor Reed. And that's the reason Glencore cut so many of those people. Is those are high salaried people, they're high cost people, they got big expense accounts. And this is like a hedge fund that's employing a lot of top analysts and fund managers. Its cost ratio is going to be quite high, especially on the salary and the manpower. So they're going to have to do some pretty incredible deals. And the rest of the market's not standing back, just letting people come in and do great deals. Everybody's looking to do great deals. So I would like to hear what their strategy is. If you talk to the people at Glencore, their strategy is, we just like to buy assets that are very, very cheap, that we think we can add a lot of value without too much work. And that adding value might be trading them for another asset. It might be expanding them. It might just be getting them right where they are now. It might even be downsizing them. But Glencore's strategy is, let's just buy things that we know we get a very high rate of return on. So I haven't heard what Mick's strategy is, if he's going to focus on certain commodities, certain countries, or if he's just going to be an opportunist and say, I'm just going to buy a mining asset that I think I can add much value to, that I think I can make worth 2 or 3 times more in the next 5 years.